Let's see how the crop overlay tool works in Lightroom. It's found here in the tool strip. I'm going to click on it. I could also have used the R key to open up the options. I can place my cursor over the image and, much like in Photoshop, click and drag and create a bounding box there. I can resize that by clicking the edges and dragging. Go to any of these edges. And I can also move the image around within the window by clicking inside. You saw the hand icon. And now I'm dragging with my mouse depressed. And I'm going to set the person right there. So I'm following the rule of thirds. These are the guides that are conveniently provided. So get that person right there in that sweet spot. And let's fine tune this a little bit more. Get all those edges right. Now, the beauty of the Lightroom crop overlay tool, unlike the Photoshop tool, is we're not throwing away any pixels. When I hit the return key, I've applied the crop. But if I go back now and reselect the crop overlay tool, I haven't lost any information. It's all still there. It's really called an overlay rather than a crop, simply a crop tool. All that data is there, and I can come back at any time in the editing process and work on it and recrop it, if you will. You may be wondering what some of the other options over here are. I can open up aspect ratio presets. So let me go ahead and grab a 5:7 preset. And now you can see this lock is locked now, which tells me that the current aspect ratio that I've selected is now going to remain in place. So I'm resizing the crop, but you can see it's maintaining that 5:7 aspect ratio. And it will until I select the lock and unlock it, in which case now I can go back and crop any way I want. Before I show you what this angle tool does, I want to show you power of a good crop. Let me go ahead and finish this one up for you before I move on to the angle tool. Get that all set. I can do a fairly radical crop, which I'm doing right now. Okay, bring that in. Like I said, place the person right there. Okay, I'm going to hit the return key. Now the crop is applied. And to really finish out this picture so you can see how much better it is, I'm going to go into the new post-crop vignetting feature and add a little bit of vignette there to draw even more attention to the person. Oops, that's too much. Okay. Now, let me show you, I'll do a comparison, and you can see the power of cropping. All right, so we need to get this one. Okay, now you can see, I think I've really improved this image. Let me make it so you can see it a little bit easier. I'm hitting the Tab key, which removed the left and right panel, and I'm going to go into lights out mode. And this is really the power of a good crop. Now, the image, which before was okay, I think now has turned out to be a very, very nice image, mostly from the strong cropping and then the application of the post-cropping vignette. Okay, so let's put the left and right panels back and hit the L key, and we're back to this image. I want to find another picture that will illustrate what I meant by the other feature of the crop overlay tool, and that's the ability to straighten your image using the crop overlay tool. Let me reset that. And now I'll select the crop overlay tool. Now, I showed you before how to use the crop tool, and I did not show you what happens when you bring your cursor outside of the edge of the box here. You see it becomes a double-headed arrow. If I click on that, a grid appears, and I can use that grid to change the angle. This is a good way to straighten an image where the horizon line is not straight. I just straighten that up, use the guides as a reference, release, hit the crop. Let me show you how to use the angle feature in the crop overlay tool. I bring my cursor outside the box, and you see it now turns into a double-headed arrow. I'm going to click, and now a grid appears on the preview window, and I'm going to drag. And you see my image is turning, and the angle slider's moving inside the options box there. I'm going to use that grid to line up my horizon, get it just right, and once I have that set and hit the return key, the image automatically straightens to that setting. And this is a wonderful tool to use for straightening out pictures like this where the horizon line is not just right. Another feature of the crop overlay tool that I think is really cool, and again, I'll go back to the tool, it can always be reset and brought back to your original image. Non-destructive image editing featured in Lightroom.